a full curl. It's right. It's like a wave in my hair. So it really depends on the day if it's going to be straighter or curlier.
Right. If like there's humidity or it's raining, it kind of like, right, it gets a little bit more wavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today it was a little dry in the air. So.
Okay. So that's why the front part of your hair is standing up. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
It looks good.
Well, thank you for noticing, Kristen.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Thursday is our health fitness dialogue. And this month we're talking about mom's wake-up call. She had a bit of an accident, and the subtitle is She Spent Her Life Taking Care of Us and Dad. So 엄마는 평생 우리와 아빠를 돌보며 지냈어. So it is true. Moms, that's what moms do. You take care of your children, you take care of your husband. I'm sure the dad also does as well, but mom has a real central role in that.
Right, yeah. I think depending on the family, depending on the person, sometimes, and we'll kind of see here, the mom will take care of other people without taking care of herself.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, let's look at some expressions here. If you sound like a broken record, now, these days, people listen to their, streaming music service. But at one time, there were records.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and if the record was broken, it would say the same thing over and over. It would just skip like, skip like, skip like, skip like, skip like. Like it would just say say the same thing over and over again.
So true.
So this phrase means that you are saying the same things over and over again.
Now, the next expression sounds kind of serious. What is a death sentence? Is it as serious as it sounds?
It can be. The death sentence can be when a judge tells a criminal, you have done something so bad.
Like a death penalty?
Like a death penalty.
Oh, okay.
Of course, depending on the country, some countries don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But we can also use this to mean this will definitely make something fail.
Oh.
So this decision will make the project fail.
Oh, it's not looking good.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Okay. Take steps to do something.
This means you're trying to prepare for some event that will happen.
Okay.
You're making a plan for something in the future.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go ahead and listen to our power dialogue.
Mom got angry when I asked if she was still okay living on her own.
I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but she spent her life taking care of us and Dad. She isn't used to anyone taking care of her.
At least she didn't break her hip.
That's often a death sentence among the elderly because of the slow recovery and other complications.
But next time, she might not be so lucky.
Maybe we can take steps to make sure there isn't a next time.
Here we go. We're on page 86. You can find the power dialogue there. Mom's wake-up call. She spent her life taking care of us and Dad. Let's begin. Maya says, Mom got angry when I asked if she was still okay living on her own. Now, of course, Mia is probably worried that, oh, wait a second. Mom, are you okay? Is it okay, living on your own? And Mom was probably not very happy to hear that because she felt like she was weak and old and what have you.
Right.
All right. So our pattern today is to be on her own or live on her own. What is this on one's own?
So on one's own means to be by yourself, right? So in this case, Mom, we would say on her own.
Yeah.
So by herself. No one was with her. She was one person, and in this case, she was living in that house by herself.
Right, by herself. And so oftentimes this is usually what we say when a child becomes an adult and they live on their own.
They become independent.
They become independent. Then we also use this for our seniors who, are older but are still living on their own.
Yes.
Without having to depend on the family. Okay. So what does Lucas say?
I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but she spent her life taking care of us and Dad. She isn't used to anyone taking care of her.
So Lucas is trying to give Mia the answer or explain why Mom got angry, right? And Lucas says, I don't mean to sound like a broken record. Okay, so he says something again and again.
Yes.
And when he starts by saying, I don't mean to do something, what is he saying?
So I think this entire sentence is a great thing to remember.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound like a broken record. It's kind of saying, I know I said this before. I know I say this a lot. I am going to say it one more time.
One more time, yeah.
And there is the feeling of like, I'm sorry, but I think I need to say this one more time.
Right, one more time.
Yeah.
That's right. So if you sound like a broken record, it just means that you are saying the same thing again and again and again.
And again and again, yeah.
But Lucas is saying, well, I think I need to say it again. I'm sorry, but it's important.
Yes.
Okay? And so Mom took care of the children and Dad, and she's not used to anyone taking care of her, right? She's very independent.
Yes.
And Mia says, at least she didn't break her hip. So she didn't break anything.
Yes.
And Lucas says, that's often a death sentence among the elderly because of the slow recovery and other complications. Okay. This is very true because I know a lot of elderly people in my, circle of friends, like their parents. And it is true that when an elderly person falls, it's a bit of a death sentence. And don't take this literally, but it's just saying that it's not good.
Right, yeah. So there is death in this expression, and sometimes it does mean that. But in this case, it just means things will get serious.
Yeah.
So for people that are older, when they break their hip, oftentimes it can't really be corrected.
That's right.
So then they have to start traveling in a wheelchair, for example.
Right, or they can't move around more.
Right. So it's kind of like saying when that happened, her life changed immediately.
That's right. And oftentimes when the elderly, when they fall, because they can't move around more, then it starts to affect their health.
Right.
Like brain health. And they start, losing their memory. And it just kind of like one thing after another follows.
Yeah. So this death sentence really feels like it's not just one problem happens. One problem causes so many more bad things to happen.
That's right. So don't take this literally like it's not when you say, oh, that's a death sentence. It doesn't mean that they're going to die. It's just saying that, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, complications. What does this word mean?
합병증.
Yeah.
So these are the other things that happen when you've had another sickness, for example. You often hear this with surgery.
Yeah.
They go in to try to fix something, but there's a complication.
Yeah.
So the surgery will cause something else bad to happen.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, so Mia says, but next time she might not be so lucky. And Lucas says, maybe we can take steps to make sure there isn't a next time. This is a great expression. Make sure there isn't a next time. So Mia says, next time, hopefully this doesn't happen. Okay, maybe next time, she will be unlucky and it will get worse. But Lucas says, well, we can take some steps.
Yes.
Yeah. What does that mean?
So take some steps means take actions to make something happen.
Right.
Or in this case, stop something from happening.
Right.
So they're taking steps so that she will not have this sort of health problem again.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And Lucas says to make sure that there isn't a next time. So, yeah, that just means not happen again.
Not happen again.
That's
we had it one time, but we don't want a second time.
That's it. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
Mom got angry when I asked if she was still okay living on her own.
I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but she spent her life taking care of us and Dad. She isn't used to anyone taking care of her.
At least she didn't break her hip.
That's often a death sentence among the elderly because of the slow recovery and other complications.
But next time, she might not be so lucky.
Maybe we can take steps to make sure there isn't a next time.
Please join us on pages 88 and 89. It's time for Power Note. Let's look at some examples. Sentences. Sound like a broken record means that you're saying the same thing again and again. And it's annoying.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Please stop leaving your socks on the living room floor.
You sound like a broken record. I've heard you say it a dozen times.
Well, then
pick
do
it
it.
up. Yeah.
Then pick it up.
I would. Yeah, my mom would say, I wouldn't sound like a broken record if you did it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. There's a reason why I sound like a broken record.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. She sounds like a broken record, nagging me about my homework. Mm-hmm. Again, if you did your homework, she wouldn't sound like a broken record.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned, it is that sort of like, if someone sounds like a broken record, it is a bit annoying, and you don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of, okay, we know.
Yeah.
So you can also hear this said about, like, politicians. You know, like some politicians, they have, like, one problem they're trying to solve, and every interview, it's just the same thing, the same answer every time.
Right.
They're just always talking about that one thing.
Right.
It's like, gosh, they sound like a broken record.
Right.
Like, that's not the only problem.
Right.
There are other things we need to talk about.
So again, when you say they sound or he or she sounds like a broken record, it's like, 듣기 싫어. It's like the same thing again and again. That is the idea. Yeah. So use it sparingly.
And I will say this is only about things that people say.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes there are songs that you hear over and over again.
Oh, right. Every hour.
Yeah, you cannot use it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a broken record is only for people saying the same things over and over again.
Very good. Now, this next expression, death sentence, means that it is probably going to fail.
Yeah.
Or eventually even lead to their death.
Yes.
Okay? Let's see how it's used. Sando Electronics is expanding into the smartphone field.
That's going to be a death sentence for Sando. There's no way they can compete.
Wow. So you can use this in a business context.
Yes. When a business is going to fail completely. So much so that the business might go away.
Right.
And here the sentence is basically saying Sando is going to spend a lot of money trying to get into the smartphone business.
Right.
But there's no way they can succeed.
Yeah. Isn't it true that I've seen many businesses, I'm not a business expert, but when you expand, you have to be careful.
Yes.
When you go into new territory, got to be careful because you're going to end up spending and investing a lot of money.
Yes.
And it could be a death sentence for the company that was actually doing well.
Right.
Okay. Those comments are going to be a death sentence for his political career.
Oh, haven't we seen this before?
Right.
A politician says one thing and it ruins their career completely.
Right.
So, I mean, and maybe it was a really bad comment. Maybe it was good that the person's career ended. But that death sentence is, there's no recovery.
And I feel like this is kind of the culture that is happening in the States. You got to be super careful about what you say. It can be a death sentence to your career.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are very sensitive these days.
And it's not only your actions. So it could be someone else's actions are a death sentence for you. So if we go back to this company example, maybe you are in the smartphone business, but another bigger company starts to get in the smartphone business. And it's like, that's a death sentence for us.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's such big competition.
Right.
So it's not just you doing something that causes something bad. It can be someone else, but it's just like, man, there is no way I can recover from this.
Well, I mean, and that takes us to like just normal retail business, like small owners or business owners, and having these big companies, get into that field and knocking them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a death sentence.
Here's another example. A pianist, a person who plays the piano.
Okay.
They hurt their hand.
Oh, no.
That's a death sentence for their career. Yeah. They need their hands to play the piano.
That is true.
So even if it's just one finger,
That's it.
It's over.
Or an athlete.
An athlete that like breaks their leg.
Yeah.
That's a death sentence for their career.
Totally. Maybe they don't fully recover. Right. Okay. So we can see that it can be used in a variety of ways. All right. How about the next expression? Take steps to do something means to do what is necessary to prepare for something.
Yes.
Let's see how it's used. The hurricane will hit us tomorrow.
Don't worry. I'm taking steps to cover our windows and put away outdoor furniture.
Yeah. So when a natural disaster is coming, or, a hurricane or tornado, you're going to take steps. You're going to do what is necessary to prepare for what is to come.
Yes.
We took steps to protect the company from a hostile takeover. By the way, what is a hostile or hostile takeover?
This is when an outside investor or an outside company tries to take over.
Right, and buy the company.
So if you take steps to protect against that, you're doing different things. There's some kind of financial actions you can take to protect your company.
Yeah. So this expression is in preparation for what is to come or what is going to happen.
Yes.
You're doing something. You're taking action. Okay, our power pattern today is on, her own, his own, one's own, which means
by yourself.
By yourself. This is the first time Janice has traveled on her own.
Oh, solo travel.
Yeah.
She doesn't like going to the movies on her own.
I do.
You do.
I do. I do it often.
It's great.
It is.
You can buy all the snacks you want.
Yeah, and I don't
have to share.
That's right. And I can watch the movie that I want to watch.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Power vocab is complication or complications.
So this is when a problem comes up or something, a secondary problem comes up.
That's right. There's a nice definition on page 90, so please do check that out. And what else should we do?
Please go to Audio Hakdang, and for a small monthly fee, you can listen to this show and many other great EBS shows.
And you can also stop by at 6 p.m. for our live show evening special.
Yes, we'll see you there.
Okay, we'll see you there. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.